Whoa, Nelly. IGN just RIP'd NBA 2K24. IGN rated NBA 2K24 a 6 out of 10 and ripped them apart in their latest review. We finna get into all the details. Y'all be sure to drop a like and drop a sub if you can. Firstly, I want to pull up the review on Steam for NBA 2K24. With close to 3,000 reviews, NBA 2K24 has an overwhelmingly negative review. And from what I understand, it now joins Overwatch 2 as the worst rated games in history on Steam. A lot of PC players are upset that they continue to get the current gen version of the game, even though a lot of PC users are using hardware that's much better than the console that we're using. I just wanted to throw that out there right quick before we get into this IGN review and pull up some key points of this IGN review. I will have a link to this article in the description below in case you guys want to follow along. And y'all brace yourself, get your popcorn ready because it gets real hot real quick. The IGN review on NBA 2K24 starts out like this. NBA 2K24 is like a frustratingly talented superstar who falls short of delivering championships season after season. At the second I read that, I was like, oh, we about to go in. It goes on to say the excellent encore gameplay bolsters significant depth with its dedication to looking, sounding, and feeling like a genuine NBA experience. But it's sidelined by heinous microtransactions that plague many of the most popular game modes. These in-game purchases aren't just present and optional, they are essential to compete with other players online. It's especially frustrating because my career, the focal point of many changes to this year's iteration, has so much potential. But if it truly aimed to emulate the beauty of pro basketball, it would reward skill and effort more than open wallet shortcuts. Man, I hope you guys kept up with that whole paragraph. It makes my hair stand up to see a company like IGN recognizing the abusive and aggressive microtransaction behaviors by Take-Two and 2K. And one of these key points, it says, my career goes to painstaking lengths to prod us into in-game purchases. Now you can tell this IGN reviewer was actually trying his best to play the game and understand what 2K24 is all about. In this next segment, he talks about my career and he says the steps NBA 2K24 takes forward are largely overshadowed by its most popular game mode, my career, and the painstaking lengths it goes through to prod us into in-game purchases. Let me set the table. Despite having access to 100,000 VC, which you guys only get from purchasing the Black Mamba or 25th anniversary edition, my created player rested at a 75 overall after I dumped everything I had into attribute upgrades. He took his complete 100,000 and dumped that 100,000 into upgrading his player, and it only got him to a 75 overall. But you guys are paying $100 to $150 for either the Mamba edition or the 25th anniversary edition. He further elaborates by saying, I then played my career for about 10 hours and slowly crawled my way up to an 81 overall. So when 10 hours worth of gameplay only got him from 75 overall to 81 overall. He started at a 60, the 100,000 got him to 75 overall. 10 hours worth of gameplay got him 6 overall upgrades, and he's now an 81 overall. He goes on to say, all the while I'm completely disregarding most of the customizable aspects of my career that make it so fun. And this includes dress wear, better animations, and other personalized elements. As you guys know, I'm going through a no money spent playthrough this year because I personally spent way too much money on NBA 2K23, a game, an iteration that I didn't even enjoy and in fact deleted before the end of the annual cycle. I spent $1,200 last year on 2K23, and when I look back at my experience, I didn't even have fun playing the game. There were fun moments, but I spent a good majority of my time on 2K23 frustrated, looking at the clock on when I'm finna get off the joint. Now I'm on NBA 2K24 and I'm actually experiencing the same thing he just mentioned. No money spent means no money on boosts, no money on animations, no money on attributes. I have to grind it out. And if I play offline, like versus AI players, I have no animations to finesse or work on particular dribble moves. I simply gotta walk down the court, call for a screen, wait for the screen to hit, walk over, and take my jump shot. Rinse and repeat for the entire game. The review goes on to say, in spite of that, I was almost always the lowest rated player on the court, even when competing against other online players. My career placed me in the NBA as an up-and-coming starter on a team of my my choice. As a result, I was thrust into an environment where I was regularly guarding players with a major attribute difference, making playing good defense or offense virtually impossible. When I did step on the court with other players online, no amount of skill or precision allowed me to compete with players who dump money, like hundreds of dollars in parentheses, into their created character. Within just a day or two of release, I was so far behind the curve that the idea of grinding out more VC felt sickening. Effectively, the only way to play here is to pay, and that's just offensive. Woo-wee, that boy is ripping into 2K. In this next segment, he talks about that 2K24 establishes a maddening cycle of not having a player good enough to compete without hope of ever being able to improve them. NBA 2K24 wants you to open up your wallet and punishes you if you don't. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, he is going in. He goes on to say that NBA 2K24 offers a variety of core and game types, such as 5v5 or 3v3s. And he said this will be a lot more fun if the matchups weren't so frequently lopsided. Similarly, there are a ton of fun fashion items to purchase, but they are locked behind massive VC paywalls, especially in the early stages of NBA 2K24. I regularly had to choose if I wanted my player to look cool or if I wanted him to play well. So once again, it's impossible to get the most out of my career without forking over additional cash. And that's actually the dilemma that I'm in. I'm not used to wearing 2K sneakers roaming around the park or roaming around the city. And now when I go into swags and consider buying something, the only thing that I could think of is that that pair of sneakers along with this shirt and this pair of pants could actually mean like maybe 4 or 5 attribute points on my player. This is the difference in mindset. Where I was in 2K23, I would have just quickly dropped that 50 to 100K on a new outfit, taking away from my VC total, which will then in turn lead me to having to buy more VC with my IRL money, because surely I will inevitably have to upgrade my player if I really want to be able to compete online. And in this last segment, IGN gives their final verdict. They go on to say, the old adage, a tale of two halves, really encapsulates the NBA 2K24 experience. On one hand, the hardcore experience is as good as it has ever been, as we should demand from a game that iterates annually. And there are a handful of game modes that allow all of that to be enjoyed without interruption. But on the other hand, the more nefarious hand, my career is nearly unplayable unless you open your wallet or endure an absurd grind. They continue on saying, even worse, mechanics like badge regression reinforce the worst parts of the microtransaction scheme. Beneath those issues, NBA 2K24 still offers a solid basketball experience, but it requires looking in the right places. Clearly, there's a love of the game for basketball on display in modes like My NBA and Mamba Moments, but a lot of the love is lost the moment we're asked to pay an absurd amount of money to compete in the main multiplayer mode. Man, I tell you guys, when I was reading this article, I was like, man, IGN going in, bringing awareness to what's going on with 2K and what they're doing to the player base. And if you guys don't know, sports gamers, we suffer the most in regards to in-game purchases. You see, other developers don't do this type of stuff to their player base. I hope you guys realize that we're stuck in our own little bubble. Most sports gamers don't even venture out to play different games. So we fail to realize how much we're being taken advantage of as a player base. We fail to realize the pay to win mechanics. We fail to realize how it's progressing year to year. It's almost like these companies are taking advantage of our love for a particular sport, and we're pretty much paying to love the sport because we shouldn't have to pay this much for entertainment. I made a decision this year to go no money spent, and reading articles like this helped reinvigorate my will to stand strong, because it's really tough grinding out there. It's really tough switching from a mentality where last year I was so quick to give 2K $1 and then the very next release not spending any money in microtransactions. It's a tough experience, but it's definitely an experience that I'm willing to take on for the greater good. I need you guys to understand that we are really only about 5 years into this transition from the community of everybody, almost every single player, spending money on the game to upgrade their players, spending money on the game to boost up their players. It wasn't too long ago, back in 2K18, where buying boosts was pretty much frowned upon by the community. In 2K24, you are frowned upon for not buying boosts. You are frowned upon for putting your team at a disadvantage. All mechanics that 2K has put into place. I would like to wrap this video up by saying I am enjoying my time on 2K24. I played in the rec center with the homies yesterday. My player is like a 65 overall, and I am performing fairly decent, at least above the standard of what most folks would think a 65 overall is supposed to play like. But that's just me. I'm a little different because I've been playing the game since the very first release on Dreamcast, so I have a ton more experience with the game. What does this experience look like for a brand new 65 overall? I will be going live a little later on today to talk some more about this stuff. Hopefully y'all could tune in. Y'all be sure to keep it locked. If you guys are tired of running with randoms and you're looking for players to run with on NBA 2K, come on out and join our Discord. We'd love to have you. The link for Discord will be in the description below. I want to thank you guys so much for tuning in, and y'all be sure to keep it locked right here at AllCity Live TV, because we got a bunch more NBA 2K24 news, information, and updates coming your way. Drop a like and drop a sub on your way out. I'll catch you guys on the next video or live stream. Easy, y'all.